So guys, I was checking out how many videos I've done so far since 7 months on BookTube, and this is the 100th video. I cannot believe I've sat in front of this camera 100 times to film a video, but there it is. I hope you've been enjoying the channel so far. I'm Nikhil with Shelf-Esteem, and this is my weekly reading roundup for the week ending November 17th, 2024. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nikhil with Shelf-Esteem. I'm a composer, now also a booktuber. You can find my music in The Wheel of Time Season 2, His Dark Materials Season 3, and the newly released psychological horror film, Dead Whisper. So, always love doing these weekly reading roundups. That's what I like to call it. Talk about what I read, what I'm gonna read, things that happen in my music and film life, and just kind of tying together these different worlds that may seem disparate on the outset, but really are related. You know, as I mentioned, I've worked on book adaptations and music and things like that. And so I always like to marry these different worlds, and it seems like, you know, some of you have been really enjoying that stuff, so I'm so glad, you know, to get your feedback always. So let me know if there's anything I can continue to do to improve these videos. I'm going to actually put a community poll. I was thinking about doing that anyways. This week, talking about what other kind of content suggestions you all would have, because, you know, I always want to keep this channel varied. I don't want to just be doing the same stuff over and over again, and so I want to always like see if there's anything new, a new segment I could debut on the channel or try out. So always feel free to let me know in the comments. I'll also put up a community poll and just get your viewpoints on this, because as I always say, it's our channel. I'm the steward of the channel, but it's ours. So it's only as good as, you know, making everybody as happy as possible and bringing as much joy to our community as possible. So with that said, if you like this kind of video, please like and subscribe, and let's jump on into the week. So great reading week actually this week. So I read 3 different books, and I'm going to kind of go over those with you. One is kind of a little bit of a off the beaten path for me, but this first one was a read-along. I'm doing a buddy read with John from Disquiet and Dragons. This is book 2 of the Bloodsworn saga by John Gwynne, and this one is called, bookmark is falling off. And by the way, this was a beautiful bookmark for Trust of the Emerald Sea, the Brandon Sanderson novel. We had gotten the swag boxes and everything, so pretty cool. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So I'm at page let's see, almost 200, 176. So I'm taking my time with this one. I will say, you know, it's it's still not striking me like Faithful and the Fallen did in terms of the characters. I'm actually really enjoying the story. I kind of love the epic scale of this. I love the kind of gods and monsters and kind of that side of it is really cool. I love the kind of the Norse influences and everything. Those things are great. I love the world building. Characters are just not gelling with me in the same way as Faithful and the Fallen. Now, I will say, this book, I feel I'm enjoying so much more than the first one. So I'm excited to see, you know, and continue on the series. And I'll see how John is feeling about it. I know, because we shared a similar sentiment about the first book, but I know he's kind of reading this second one now. So it's fun to read it together. It's always fun to read with friends, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with this one. Then Rhythm of War, The Dance Continues. I am at about page almost 400, and just to give you a sense of the sheer size of this book, bam, that's 400 pages, okay? So, ways to go here, but I've been taking my time with this one, and I'm so glad I did, because, you know, for those of you who don't know, Rhythm of War is the 4th book in Brandon Sanderson's magnum opus, the Stormlight Archive series, which is supposed to be a planned 10 books. And the 5th book, which is kind of the ending of this first arc. So it's a finale of the first arc, and presumably a finale for this set of characters, is coming out December 6th. So I wanted to get ready. And I'm doing a reread of Rhythm of War in anticipation, because I forgot a ton of stuff. And I gotta say, if you end up rereading this book, read it slow. Take your time with it, because there's so much science and technology and like evolution of these characters from that perspective that you're seeing that it's better to take your time and really ingest the stuff. I tried to blaze through it when I first read it, and I think it didn't do me justice. Didn't do the book justice, rather, because it's just so much stuff being thrown at you. So I'm glad that this time I'm taking my time, and I'll probably have to pick up the pace if I want to finish by the end of the month. But luckily, Thanksgiving is next week and stuff, so there'll be plenty of time to do that, I think, during next week. But the third book, The Surprise. So I was wandering around the bookstore, and I saw this book was at Barnes & Noble, and it was $50. It's like, I don't want to spend $50 for a book, so I'll probably just get it from the library. But I was very excited about this book because anyone who knows me knows I'm a massive Beatles fan. They're my favorite band of all time, and anything Beatles I want to read about if this book's coming out. And this particular one is called Living the Beatles Legend, the untold story of Mal Evans. So Mal Evans is like the roadie for the Beatles, and his role started to become more expanded for the Beatles as they went, to the point where he helped co-write with Paul McCartney a couple of the songs on the Sgt. Pepper's album. I mean, and he helped Paul McCartney come up with the name Sgt. Pepper and stuff. Like, insane that he didn't get the credit that, he was due for his massive contributions to the Beatles. So it's actually really interesting to see his story. And because it's not the Beatles story, you get to see a bird's eye view of someone who's on the ground floor as the Beatles are achieving this success that is with them every step of the way. And so you get to see the Beatles as people and not just as songwriters. That's fascinating to me. So really, probably one of the best Beatles books I've ever read personally. So I'm really excited about that. I've been blazing through this. There's 500 pages. I'm at about 315 or so now in this. So I'm definitely going to be finishing this this week. But let's talk about a little bit about what I'm going to be reading this week. So I'm going to be kind of navigating my way through these 3 books. And of course, because we have never-ending TBR, so I'm going to be adding a 4th book. But before I get to that, I am going to try to finish this one, The Hunger of the Gods. I am going to definitely finish The Untold Story of Mal Evans. And I'm going to try to get, this is a pretty ambitious reading goal for this week, but I'm going to try to get a couple more 100 pages in on this. And then, as if that wasn't enough, I'm going to start the book by A.R. Witham called The Crimes of Rooker Flynn. So this is book 1 of a series, I believe, and I've been excited to read this. A.R. Witham was so kind enough to send me a book, and so I'm really looking forward to diving into this. And as you can tell, much shorter than my other reads, which will be a nice contrast, because sometimes when you're reading one long book after another, it does start to all blur together. So it is nice to have contrast. I love contrast in reading. I'd love to hear how you all like to read, by the way. Do you like to read like massive tomes all in a row? Do you like to read all short books? Do you like kind of medium? How do you like to read your books? Like, always fun to figure out ways of keeping this fun for all of us, right? So let's talk about this past week on the channel. So I had released 3 videos. One is my always weekly reading roundup, which I've been releasing on Monday afternoons. The second one I released was about my Q4 book haul. I'm leaving that up here so you could check it out if you haven't, because it is a massive one. As some of you may know, I love buying special editions, but I also love buying used books. I love book shopping at used bookstores. I love going to library book sales because I believe that you can have it all without breaking the bank. And I always want to impress that upon you because I think we live in a very, acquisition culture, especially on BookTube. We want all the nice shiny things, right? Of course, we judge a book by its cover, of course, but it shouldn't come at the sake of our economic well-being, right? So I always like to kind of provide an alternative view on BookTube. So that was kind of the impetus of that video. Then I also did an adaptation news episode 3 where I talk about news from your favorite books for the big and small screen, including a bunch of Stephen King adaptations that are coming and news on a Joe Abercrombie adaptation. Yes, you heard that right. And these are things that, because I'm a composer and I'm always looking at industry kind of inside knowledge and things that are not necessarily widely available to the public, but are not under NDAs or anything. So I can report on things as they're moving down the pipeline. So kind of fun, unique perspective. So definitely check that out. And I want to make sure that that's something that I can always provide for you guys. And last but not least, one of the coolest things I've gotten a chance to do since the 7 months on BookTube is I got a chance to be on Philip Chase's, Dr. Philip Chase, YouTube's own, BookTube's own Philip Chase. I got a chance to be on his channel for his Dear Dr. Fantasy segment. Now, if you don't know, Philip Chase is a fantastic booktuber, a staple of the community, and also the author of the Edan trilogy, of which I've read 2 out of the 3 books. I'm planning on reading the 3rd first week of December. And I got a chance to chat about my music career and books and all sorts of things. A really fun chat, and we recorded that yesterday, and so that's going to be up at some point on his channel. I'll keep you all posted when that's up, but I couldn't be more thrilled because, you know, it's like we are in this community, we get a chance to interact with people we really enjoy interacting with. I've been following Philip's channel for like 3-4 years, and I first heard about him through Mike's book reviews, and you know, it's just like you become kind of that. You feel like they're the friend in the room. You know, I would have those videos on when I was composing sometimes because it's nice to have a friend in the room when you're working on stuff, right? So, and then to actually get to meet someone you're a fan of, you know, it's really, really cool. So wonderful chat, wonderful guy. I'll keep you all posted. So let's talk about this week on the channel. So I'm going to try to get 2 videos up, you know, besides this weekly reading roundup. I'm going to see how it goes, but one that is definitely guaranteed that I want to put up is the series that I want to start in 2025. So you probably already know some of them because of the channel read-alongs we're going to have next year, linked up here if you want to know more information. And of course, it's in our Discord, which is down below. But I also have some other series I want to start. And, you know, I figured I'd let you all know. And they're not necessarily going to be even soft read-alongs, but I'll be reading them. If you want to read along, you can read along, you know. And then we can kind of chat about them in the comments. Of course, in the Discord, in the general chat, we could chat about them too. A little bit more loosely than some of those planned read-alongs. But that's the one video I have planned. If I can get to a second one, I will. I'm not quite sure what that will be yet, but I'll keep you all posted. And finally, as is long overdue, I'm going to put up a playlist of music I like to listen to when reading. You know, ambient stuff that it's not too heavy on the ears. So, you know, in case you're looking for more music to read, I'll put up a playlist of that, and I'll put that in the community post as well. So, let's talk about the last segment, which is music and film. So last week was kind of uneventful, but this week I'm going to be working on a bunch of projects. This week I'm going to be working on the score for the short film, Proof of Concept for a feature called The Conduit, a horror film that I worked on with the filmmakers of Dead Whisper. And this is a very special project to me because I'm also a producer as well as a composer. So I got to be on set, got to see how things are filmed, help out on set and everything, and help with the casting and everything like that. And now I'm jumping in the composer's chair, and I'm going to be composing the score this week. So that's really going to be fun. The second thing I'm going to be working on is I'm working on a video game right now with a friend of mine who is, you know, the whole impetus of the game was he read Stormlight Archive and he wanted a story that was kind of in that style. Not same story at all, but similar style of storytelling. So very excited about that. I'm going to be working on a theme for that. And then my wife and her friends are forming a game company. So I'm going to be diving into some music for that. So that's really, really cool. I get to work with my wife on something. It's kind of a dream of ours that we could work together in some capacity. So I'm very excited about that. I'll keep you all posted when I can share stuff on that side of things. But let me know about your week. Like, how was your week? Did you have a good week? Did you have a good reading week? Anything fun happened to you this week? Let me know in the comments, and I always love to chat with you all. It's the most fun part of my week is to be able to chat with you all. Take a break from the composer's chair and just like get to dive into the weeds of the books that we love and the books that we think that should have more viewership, you know? So with that said, please like and subscribe. I'm Nikhil with Shelf-Esteem. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other. I will see you on the next video, the 101th video. Take care.